We met in 7th grade, band, playing trombones. He was a friendly guy, sharp. He knew a lot of things I didn't, especially about politics.
I first met Fred when I was elected to the City Council and became chair of the Transportation Committee.
I first met Fred in 1990. He was mayor of Mercer Island, and I was working for a small city south of Seattle. I met him then and had no idea that some 20 years later I'd be working with him closely on a day-to-day basis.
He was active, of course, at his job in Boeing, but he always was able to find time and participate in so many different civic issues.
Fred has a love and a commitment and a deep understanding of transportation challenges.
No one believed more than Fred that it was the state's responsibility to provide a high-quality education for all our kids, particularly those that we worry about the most, whether they lived in Bellevue or Seattle or Federal Way or Brewster.
Everybody knows that Fred is this brainiac. He comes up with words that he then has to go and explain to everyone around him what they mean. But he also challenges you to think and look at problems and how you solve problems in a different way.
He gets kind of really geeky at times and kind of loses me, but I appreciate that.
When I first met him, I used to have to carry a pocket dictionary to keep track of the words he was using.
Fred is a cerebral guy, and in spending many hours with him over the years, I often felt my intellect taxed. And more than once or twice, I gained some additional words in my vocabulary.
I would then come on after him and explain what he said.
If you ask Fred what time it is, he starts by telling you how to build a watch.
If I had to describe Fred, I would say Fred's a Renaissance man.
He makes people think outside the box.
He's a very bright guy.
He is one smart cookie.
He's very bright.
And he really cares about what he does. That's what I like about him.
Devoted, persistent, and action-oriented.
Very analytical. I love his sense of humor.
He has a good sense of humor, and I think his commitment is one of the things that really stands out to me.
He's a policy wonk.
He was really good at public policy.
He's very friendly, but very focused. He researches. If everything to research had been discovered, he might stop, maybe.
Fred's got a really very self-deprecating style about him.
One thing I learned really quickly when we first met was that in your heart of hearts, the term well done was much more important than well said. And your record in Olympia and everywhere else has certainly confirmed that over the years.
Being Fred's neighbor meant you never knew when he was going to walk in, sit down, and what you thought might be a 30-second chat into 2 hours later.
Everybody who's been around Fred knows that he can tell you more ways to solve a problem than you probably need, but he's got a lot of good ideas inside his head.
It also meant a lot of times helping him process through his thoughts. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? I'm thinking about fill in the blank.
That's probably what I would see as the biggest thing he improved at, or made an impact on the region on, is getting the suburban jurisdictions in the county to actually understand each other and work well together in a non-political way.
He believes in public service, and he's a great example of a wonderful public servant.
Probably one of the smartest moves Dow ever made was to have Fred be his deputy.
When you look at your record of accomplishment in the legislature, you realize that you've just had a major impact on all of us.
If you're looking for someone to model, you want to get into public life, you want to be an elected official or appointed official, that's the guy you should model, because he puts policy and improvement ahead of politics.
I don't think we'd be the same without Fred Jarrett.